in fact, one of the accomplishments out of Anchorage was that the United States backed off of this call for an immediate ceasefire in place. Now, as I understand it, based upon what I've read overnight, Trump's now saying they want an immediate ceasefire.
Yes.
How's that going to go over with President Putin and Gerasimov and Lavrov?
Well, obviously, immediate ceasefire is a non-starter for Russia, right? Because we are sure that if we get ceasefire, if we have ceasefire, we won't have anything else afterwards. There won't be a resolution of the ceasefire. The ceasefire will be basically the final stage. And it means that none of the root causes will be abolished. On the contrary, the root causes of the Ukraine conflict will be strengthened.
Correct.
Because the ceasefire will be supplemented with the intensification, not reduction, but intensification of the arms supplies to Ukraine, rebuild of the Ukrainian armed forces, intensification of the practical military cooperation which is ongoing between Ukraine and the NATO countries when it comes to the usage of the weapons provided by the West, training of the Ukrainian armed forces, provision of the intel information, so on and so forth. Moreover, Ukraine will be further integrated in practical and in official terms into the Western institutions, including the European Union. And nothing will also happen in terms of the Ukrainian domestic legislatures in such fields as the Russian language, the Orthodox Church, or Ukrainian Orthodox Church, and so on and so forth. So we will have even more neo-Nazi Ukraine, de facto integrated in the Western orbit, even more militarized. So nothing will be resolved, right? And Russia will be threatened. The threat vis-a-vis Russia will be even greater than it is today. So it makes no sense at all. You know, on the one hand, the difference between the Trump administration and the Biden administration is that Trump does not want to defeat Russia, right? Trump does not want to inflict strategic defeat on Russia. But I'm afraid that Donald Trump and the people in his administration poorly understand that ceasefire, as I just explained it, means de facto Russian defeat. Correct. And obviously, Moscow will not allow that. So if the Trump administration is not ready to discuss the terms of the comprehensive fundamental resolution of this conflict now, as we agreed in Anchorage, then Russia will continue the war up until the moment when the position of the front will be such that the Trump administration will be again compelled to start discussing in order to avoid the Ukrainian complete military defeat.
Well, you know, one of the strangest parts of this is Trump is so disconnected from his own policies, because during his first term, I went back and counted up the number of military exercises with either NATO or U.S. European Command with Ukraine. Mm-hmm. And over the course of 30 years, or, you know, through 29 years, starting in 1995, over that period of time, of all of the countries in NATO, Ukraine was number 6 in terms of hosting NATO exercises.
Right.
So it's not even a member of NATO.
Absolutely.
But it's hosting more NATO exercises than 24 other countries.
That's precisely what I meant by talking about practical cooperation between Ukraine and NATO. I mean, Ukraine is out of NATO officially, but intensity of practical cooperation between Ukraine and NATO is more than among some NATO countries.
It's a de facto member.
Right.
We have seen a dramatic turn in the war in terms of the Russian general staff's decisions about how to approach it. You know, we go back a year ago, 2 years ago, the forces would be concentrated at one location, whether it was Bakhmut or Avdiivka. Mm-hmm. but now it's not just Pokrovsk and Kramatorsk, and it's all along the line.
Right.
There is a massive push, and it seems to be accelerating. Do you think that's a correct assessment?
I think that it is. Russia holds the initiative along all the front line, and please note, Ukraine has not conducted any offensive within a year.
Yeah.
Within the whole year, no major offensive, only defense.
Right.
It tells you something about the state of the Ukrainian armed forces, whereas, of course, due to the change of the nature of war, driven by the FPVs and the other massive usage of drones, Russia cannot conduct as rapid advances as, for instance, in the Second World War. Right? It is impossible. This is why there is this incremental offensive.
Well, they could do it if they wanted to take lots of casualties,
absolutely,
but they don't want to take lots of casualties.
Right. Because avoidance of casualties is still, one of the major criteria and terms
Correct.
of this war. So this is why we have this incremental offensive, but incremental offensive is ongoing, and there is a massive Russian advantage in everything at the front line. People, artillery, machines, and drones, right? And this correlation of forces cannot be changed. There are no Wunderwaffe, right, that the West could hypothetically provide. And this is why, actually, we are talking about not if, but when there will be a drastic game change in the front line to the Russian favor. I think the collapse of the front line is a matter of time, not a matter of whether.
I'd agree. Dmitry, listen, thank you so much for your insights, your wisdom, and your expertise.
Thank you very much, Larry.
This is Countercurrents. I'm Larry Johnson.